All right, here we go. Well, welcome everyone to an amazing TrueFire Live. We're excited here. I'm Jeff Sheets from TrueFire. We've got Shane here in the controlling position to make this all work, make the magic happen. And we've got amazing our good friend Mike Zito here. So, guys, before we get started, for everyone tuning in, I want to just say thanks for being here. And if you've got questions for Mike, post them in the chat underneath or on the YouTube on the side of the video, I guess it is. We will get to those. We'll answer some questions. Mike's going to talk about some cool stuff about being on the road, give you some tips on what to do, how to handle that, some playing tips. He's got his guitar there. You can see he is on the road. So it's pretty cool. This is like tips from a gigging musician who's actually gigging, unlike maybe other places you might get those tips from someone who's just hanging out on the couch doing nothing. So that's what we're going to do. Post your questions there. We're going to wrap this up here in a little under an hour because Mike's got to get to the gig. So without further ado, amazing friend of the fire, multi-time award-winning blues master, touring, yada yada. We know, right? It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But once again, more than anything, great player, and better than that, a great human, and one of our good friends, Mr. Mike Zito. So, hey, Mike, how are you?
That's a wonderful intro. Thank you, Jeff. I'm doing really good. I feel good, man. How about you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. I'm glad to have you here. I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I know you're out on the road right now, which is pretty cool. So tell us, where are you at tonight?
I am in luxurious Rochester, New York.
Nice, nice. And where are you playing in Rochester?
Well, we're playing at a spot about 20 minutes south of here. It's in a little village of Lima, New York, called Fanatics, and it's a staple. If you're out on the road and you're a blues rock artist, this is a staple venue. The people that own it are wonderful, and it's great. They do like weeknight shows.
Nice.
If we're out on the road, we were there last night with the Blood Brothers with Albert Castilla, and then we just stay over and we'll play tonight with my show. So it's great. It's wonderful.
Well, good. That's amazing. So how many times, when you go out on the road, how long are you usually out for, and how many nights in a row do you do? What's your preference to do?
Well, yeah. So that's a couple of questions. So, if there's a real tour booked, it's probably more in the 3-week range of maybe 18 shows over 21 days kind of a thing. Sometimes 21 shows over 21 days. Just depends. That seems to be the longest. I'm fortunate, so that seems to be as long as I'm out now, and I probably will only do that this year, maybe 3 times, maybe not even 3 times. But in years past, that was the minimum, because you'd need to stay out on the road longer to make enough money to come back home. So sweet spot for me, the band, or anybody right now is like a 10-day run, somewhere in that range, just under 2 weeks. That's and that's what we're doing right now. We're kind of just right past, almost to the middle of 9 in a row.
Wow. That's a lot of work, and you've been doing it for a lot of years.
Yeah. You can tell, I'm 32 years old, and look how worn I look.
Road takes a toll. Guys, be
Yeah.
careful. Don't try this at home, kids. It's a quick ager. So we got a lot of guys tuning in, a lot of guitar players, a lot of fans. There's,
Cool.
hundreds of people watching, which is pretty awesome. If anyone wants to let us know where you're watching from, I see a lot of people watching from Las Vegas, from Virginia, from the Netherlands, from Arizona. So lots of cool spots.
The Netherlands are my favorite state in the Union.
That is the best. That is the best. Some good tour in there in the Netherlands. So basically, drop any questions you have. We'll try to go through some. But one question that we have come up a lot is, about practicing, right? People struggle with practicing in general, but how do you manage that on the road? And do you have any tips for guys about here's how to get yourself, ready to play? Here's how to go over stuff when you're got such a busy schedule. Because even if you're not on the road, a lot of people have a super busy schedule just at home. So what kind of practice and tips do you have?
Well, I apply it all to like one. To me, there's exercising, like warming up, and that needs to happen every day when I'm on the road, and I make sure I do it when I'm not on the road. That is more of like whatever I can get. Sometimes maybe I would really like 20 minutes a day, and maybe it's just not going to happen. And maybe it's going to be 7 minutes, but it's going to be 7 minutes. Like I'm going to get the guitar, I'm going to put it in my hands. I know what I want to do, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'm going to spend 7 minutes just on my hands and me touching the guitar, practicing. I'm doing this. Practicing to me would be, if I'm lucky, a once a week. If I'm home, a lot of times practicing, then I have more time to practice. That's like, wouldn't it be neat to learn something new, or to work on a new song we're going to play, learn something, practice something, to try to practice a new phrase or new idea. So to me, those are like really, I know that it seems the same, but to me, they're different. I don't get to practice every day, but I definitely do my exercise every day. And then look, I mean, this is my life. I'm not an athlete guitar player, but to me, it's very similar to being an athlete. You guys don't just show up and at practice in football and just start hitting each other. I mean, they stretch and they warm up and they run and they do all these things. And so that's where I think about it. Because one, like I'm going to play in a little bit, and what I always want to try to do is make sure that my hands feel comfortable and relaxed, and I want to make sure that I just feel like I'm not constrained, so that I can do whatever it is that I need to do. Which for me, as an improvisational style guitar player, I don't really ever know what the heck I'm going to do. But I want to be physically available to possibly do what I would like to try to do, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So what do you want when you warm up to your exercises? Show us kind of what you do. Grab your guitar.
Sure.
Run through a couple things.
Well, I grew up in a music store. I always like to tell people that, because growing up in an old, classic guitar shop means that's not dirty clothes, by the way. That's a Boss box because I bought something. Just wanted you to know. Working at a music store like that was awesome for a young guy or person. There's a lot of downtime. There's times during the day when no one's there, and I got to play guitar. And the jobs I had before that, I didn't get to play guitar at work. So I learned to practice with a metronome. And I'm not saying I just learned on my own some things, or I picked stuff up from people, and I still do those things today. I have a phone, and I use my little metronome. Of course, now I have this Spark amp. I don't know that we're selling things, but everybody's familiar with these little things. And that's even cooler because I can pull up backing tracks or music. But I put on a metronome. I put this thing at usually around 90 beats per minute. Just that there. I'm going to turn it up because the guitar is probably a little loud. And this was right out of a book I had back in the 90s on, it was like for jazz guitar players. And it was just. just 8 notes. That's all I'm doing. And when I get to the end, I move up and I go backwards. The difference between doing it and with this is that I have to lock into that beat. I know when I'm tired. I know when I haven't practiced. I need to slow it down. I know if I'm on the road like right now and I've been playing, 4 or 5 shows in a row and I have 7 minutes or 5 minutes, that's all I got. I can play faster and I'll bump it up to 96 or 98 so I can get it in. But basically, I'm going to start at the 1st fret. I'm going to go all the way to the 12th fret and all the way back down, doing 8 notes. And I can hear I'm sloppy. If I really make a mistake, I stop and make myself start over. And I'm just alternate picking, down, up, down, up. I just want it to be clean. And I want to hear all the notes and I want them to ring out. And I'm not going, I want to go. I'm holding the pick like straight up and down, so it's not, I'm going. I just want the notes to ring out smooth. I'll work my way up. I'll come back down. Okay. This is a thing that I've learned on the road. That's usually when I watch Netflix. I turn on some Seinfeld or The Office or whatever I can find, and I watch for 10 minutes, and I'm laughing, and this is on, and I'm just doing this. And usually not with the amp, I'm just making sure that I'm sitting up, that I'm holding it right, that I'm not. It's just all for good form. And it's just to get my hands feeling good. I do the exact same thing immediately over at the same tempo. But then I do 16th notes and I go. And I go all the way up to the 12th fret and I come all the way back down. And what I try to be mindful of is probably a lot of people, I can flail these fingers and lift them too high and, cause myself a lot more work. So I kind of try to consciously keep these fingers and pinky close. By the way, anyone can do this at any level. Anyone can learn to work with a metronome. You can learn to go nice and slow. You don't have to do that. You could do this and just go. Although slow can be harder sometimes. Anyone can learn to do this kind of thing. So this is just something I've worked up over the years. I do the 16th note. It's the exact same pattern. Go up and down. And then I have, I do this. I just kind of. I try to get it real nice and smooth. And you can do this while you're watching TV. And then I'll try to do it the same speed, but real quiet. And then my arm is not resting on the guitar. I don't have it like this where I'm going. It's like this. It's out. So that it's more like, like when I'm playing. And then I just, I do that for, I don't know, until my hand feels like it's, slightly going to fall off. And some of this stuff, can seem a little boring and non-musical. But there is an aspect that's, we're playing music and we're playing guitar. You never want to lose sight of the fact that, yes, we are playing music, but we're also playing this instrument. And this instrument requires a certain amount of physicality. And I'm not the most physical guitar player. I can't do what Steve Vai does or Bonamassa does. My hands aren't like that. But I have to be able to, to get my hands to do what I need them to do. And these things here really help. Now, not too much. Like I mentioned before, if I had 20 minutes, boy, that's really fun. Because then I'm going to be able to do all kinds of little things, and I'm going to be loose and enjoy myself. And but I can get a little exercise workout in about 5 or 6 minutes if I have to. I'll finish it up for you. If I had to do 5 minutes, I do what I just showed you. I do the picking, and then I do this is all out of this. I wish I had that book. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a book for jazz guitar, because at one point I thought I would be a jazz guitar player, and I'm not at all. Not even close. But I had this great idea. But I did learn this. So this is just another little kind of exercise thing, and you're doing the same thing with the metronome, but instead of I'm going 1, 2, 4, 3. If you're doing it like that, it's like. And then I slide up a fret, and I go from the in out. So now it's going to be, the fingers are going to be like 3, 4, 2, 1. Like it's. Let me see. Oh, good Lord. I've been doing this for so long, I don't think about it. So I'll do the same 8 notes. Go all the way up and down, and then I do the 16th notes. I mean, I'm pretty sloppy there, but that keeps me on my toes. I can hear when I'm not on, and I either get ahead or behind, and I got to kind of lock in. And I think that minimal amount of working with a metronome has done me wonders. Now, you can certainly practice too much. I'm a firm believer there's certainly nothing wrong with putting your guitar down sometimes and coming back to it. It's I knew guys that practiced way too much. They hurt themselves, literally, like hurt their hands and arms. But also, you could just practice too much and then show up on the gig, and it might be kind of very mechanical. So I feel like I've just kind of found this little thing that I can do that I work on, and it just makes my hand feels good right now, just using right hand picking and left hand here. And then, like I said, if I had more time, I would play a little, I would just jam a little. I put on one of these little backing tracks on the Spark and just kind of play, or I just sit and play some blues. Just sit and just play, get my hands warmed up. One more. My right hand I have to use my fingers to pick with the pick. I'm not a good shredder like this. I always wanted to be. One thing I noticed as I've gotten a little older is if I practice this. Now it's not the chord or the music or whatever. It's just this downstroke, all down, not this, just all this kind of chunky rhythm. Really loosens up this wrist. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I'm just, boy, that makes a difference. When I get to the gig, I feel like, all right, I feel like I can dig in, and I got, more control. That's it. That's the tips to making it to the middle.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. Well, I think that's important for everybody to understand kind of how to warm up. And it's great to see that you do that because, you jump up on stage. It's easy to go, well, you play for hours every night, on stage. You don't need to warm up or practice or anything, but you do because that's a different thing. So those are good tips.
I know I do. I mean, I know guys that don't, certainly guys have been playing really long time. They're like, yeah, I did that when I was young. I don't need to do that.
Right.
I like yourself, and I assume many people that might be joining us, I love guitar. Yeah. So I want to play guitar. Yeah. It's what I enjoy doing, So
might as well do it
in my hand,
Well, we know you do, and if anyone tuning in, if you have not picked up all the amazing Mike Zito courses available at TrueFire, you should do that. I think he's got like 10 courses. We got two more that we just shot that will be coming out soon. So just got a couple more really cool courses. One is a blues jam rhythms that I think is, just covering some, the absolute essential stuff. But there's a lot of really good courses, in the library. So, we'll take a look at one here in a little bit, but check those out. We'll post the link here for you guys to check it out. There's probably the link here in the description anyway, but take a look at those. A lot of good stuff, some acoustic stuff, some, electric stuff, rhythm stuff, lead. It really covers a lot of different things. So I'm pretty excited about sharing those with everyone as well.
Yeah.
You are in a really interesting spot in your life right now because you don't just have one band. You don't just go out and do one thing. You've got your own band, but then you've got the Blood Brothers with Albert Castillo, who of course you guys have done so many awesome things, have won lots of awards as well.
He's a TrueFire artist as well.
Once again, yes, another great TrueFire guy, Albert. We love Albert. And then you sort of rolled that into playing with Bill Murray. Bill Murray and the Blood Brothers. And that's something that, you probably didn't have on your bingo card originally.
No.
I'm going to be touring, playing blues with Bill Murray.
No, I had a good, certainly with Albert, everybody would always ask how did we do this band or whatever. We've been friends a really long time. We just been on the same scene, and, we're very similar, although very, very similar, but also different. So we both do kind of the same thing, and we both like a lot of just the exact same stuff. We both come from a rock and roll background that fell in love with blues, rock and blues. And, but our approach is a little different. So when we play together, it's kind of fun. And people would always ask us to play. We'd be at a festival, or I'm coming to Florida, and they'd call Albert, hey, can you come down and sit in with Mike? And we wanted to, because it was fun. And we did that. And eventually I just thought, well, everybody wants us to play together. Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just play together, go make it like a thing, and we could get paid for playing together instead of you leaving your house all the time, or me coming out to sit in with you. That's my joke, by the way. There's nothing wrong with being paid to play music, by the way. No. So that was kind of that, but yeah, we never. You don't think about something like that with Bill Murray, and he just became friendly. He's a fan of our music, in particular my song Little Red Corvette. And his brother would come and see us play. And long story short, we did an event for him last spring in Florida. They do a Caddyshack golf tournament every year. And he said, I'm going to be singing with you. I'm a big fan. I love your music. This is exciting. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. And we had so much fun on stage. I mean, true, real, natural, like kids in high school playing in a basement. Like, it was so fun. And I just looked at him as soon as we were done. And I said, wow, you should join the band. And that's what happened. And he looked at me and he goes, really? I'll join your band. Are you serious? And I said, yeah, why not? And he goes, yeah, I want to join your band. And that was it. So he has kidnapped the band, so to say. And it's been wild.
Yeah, looks like it's a great time. We were talking before about saw the amazing pictures of you guys playing at Red Rocks and getting to do a lot of different things. As we were talking about before, because you've got these 3 different bands, you play so much. There's like a wide variety of gigs, right?
Sure.
Playing at Red Rocks and then playing at a small blues venue and
Right.
doing all of it, right? So what are, what's the differences there? Other than maybe the obvious, but as far as like gear, and what would you tell, people that are tuning in, maybe students that are trying to play in a band, and what do they need to think about when they're doing different things, different, gigs in different places?
Well, sure, absolutely, and obviously, it's the most fun to me, and I don't know that everyone likes where things. I think I just explained to you right before we got live here that over the weekend we did 3 shows with Bill Murray and the Blood Brothers, and of course, those are really, big shows, bigger shows than Albert and I would ever play on our own, and it's a really different format guitar-wise. And then I played with Albert last night and our 6-piece, that's like an Allman Brothers style band. And then tonight I'll play with my band, which is a 4-piece band, which sometimes is just a trio. So, I mean, also for me, travel is involved. So if we're driving and I have my trailer, I've got a 50-watt, Marshall style amp in there with a cab and a pedal board, and it's going to be loud, and that's great. But if we fly in, which I do a lot, if we have to get on a plane and fly somewhere and play, they won't generally have what we want, and it'll be a deluxe reverb, Fender deluxe reverb, or an old broken twin with a blown speaker, and the reverb doesn't work. And I did lots and lots of tours and shows where you just put some kind of distortion pedal in your gig bag and go, well, I hope it all works out, So in this situation now, and in the day and age that we live in, it's pretty cool. I mean, I have several options as far as gear, but also let's just first focus on the music, right? I mean, when I'm playing in my band, playing what I want to play, playing my songs, I'm going to get to play all the guitar. So I don't have any other guitar players, which is, that's, when anybody asks, I like it all. I enjoy doing it all. I prefer to do it all, but it's always fun. I'll have a great time tonight, just cutting loose on guitar. And I'll have a loud, fun rig with this guitar. And, it's old school for me. I'm a simple guy. So it's a 50-watt Plexi Friedman head at the 212 cab. And literally my pedal board is a wah-wah, a vibe, and a tube screamer. And the amp is dirty, and I turn the volume up and down. And I'm going to have a ball. It's going to be a lot of too many notes and some pinch harmonics in the blues. And I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Well, there's that. That's great. But over the, with the Bill Murray band and that kind of a situation, it's a little more modern. There's 10 people on stage, 10 people. A lot of times 3 guitar players. Jimmy Vivino is the other guitar player, who's also a TrueFire artist and wonderful musician and blood brother. So in that band, there's plenty of times where 3 guitars are on stage. I do not get to play all the guitar when there's 3 guitars on stage. And I don't play super distorted. In fact, I generally play pretty kind of clean, slightly broken up. Even my dirtiest or a lead sound, it's not like it would be tonight, because it's too overpowering. And so each of the guitar players in the band, and, Jimmy Vivino probably has the most experience of being in lots of different bands, or being on the Conan O'Brien show with the horn section of this big band. You got to have a clean sound. So I'm playing a lot cleaner, and we don't have amps on stage. We tried that early on, and it was so deafening with 2 drummers and 3 guitars and a B3 organ and all this, and it was too much for Bill or any of us really. And we went to in-ears. Here's my ears sitting on my desk. I will play everything through ears when we do Bill Murray. And I have a Universal Audio, one of their pedals. It's like a Marshall pedal. It's called the Lion. I know we're not selling gear here, but, and I've tried other things. I found that works best. And that is literally all I used this weekend. That was the gear. The gear was 1 pedal plugged into a direct box. And then I got my ears in and my guitar. And the pedal has the kind of a cleaner Marshall, slightly broken up, like an old JTM Marshall sound. It's just kind of squishy and cool and glassy. And then you can click the other switch and it kind of boosts it. And there's a little bit of a lead sound. And yeah, that took getting used to. That's not quite something that I've done. I have done that in the past. It's been a long time since I was in like a Nashville touring band. But I'll say we did that all 3 nights. It sounded awesome. It was so much fun. I played lots of chords. I played lots of neck. I'm doing just a lot of and there's 2 other guitar players. So if somebody else is that, I'm usually the guy up top, doing. I'm doing just little chord pieces, and I enjoy that. And then last night we didn't have the ears, and we were on a small stage with 6 people and 2 50-watt plexis and an SVT Ampeg 300-watt bass head, and it was loud. And I wasn't, I hadn't done it. I was used to, by Sunday, I was like, oh, I can get used to this. This is easy. It's really nice. Everything sounds really nice. I can hear everybody. It's, and all of a sudden last night I was like, oh my God. I had to actually put foam earplugs in, like an old person in the audience. I was like, oh my God, this is loud. So, and then, again, tonight's easy because it's just me. There's more space. So yeah, there's a big difference, and I enjoy being available for all of those. I like playing rhythm guitar for one. I think I have a pretty good feel for it. And so, not that the other guys, they all play rhythm guitar, but I always opt to play a rhythm part in a song because I like doing it. So yeah, I play clean in this band, a little cleaner. In the Blood Brothers band with Albert, it's a little more rock and roll, but I'm still, Albert is we love him for it. He's an in-your-face, tried and true, blues rock guitar player. And so I feel like I can't do the exact same thing he's doing. So I do, try to have a little bit of a different sound, even if it's a similar amp. Right. I love my Paul Reed Smith guitars. Now that is a shout out because They're amazing to me, and they're so good to me. I'm not great with a Les Paul. I love the way they sound, and but I've really done well with the Paul Reed Smith, and it's got a coil tap. So that's the other thing is in the in both of the Blood Brothers bands, be it Bill Murray or just Albert and myself, I play a lot of single coil sounds because those other two guys are playing Les Pauls with humbuckers. Jimmy Vivino plays cleaner, Albert plays dirtier. So I got to fit in there somewhere. And I'm that guy. I play this guitar. I can play this guitar on all those gigs. I don't need another guitar because I got the sounds. To me, it's like I can get a Telecaster or a Les Paul kind of out of this same guitar. So in the other bands, I'm playing more single coil. And then tonight, I can be the humbucker. I get to be the humbucker guy, Jeff. Yeah, I get to go.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody else, competing for frequency and volume and tone. And so, and not competing, but those are things that you have to think about when you're on stage with all these other musicians is, I want to play good. I want to sound good too. I want the band to sound good, right?
Sure. And that's part of your thing, especially with your band. It's certainly about you, it's more about it's your thing, it's your deal. And whereas with the other bands, as you said, you got to fit in with, between Albert and Jimmy and everybody else, it's like find your spot, and I think
you gotta find your spot. And I do kind of take pride in, I think I'm a good supportive musician. And I don't mean this the wrong way, but not everyone is built for that. Some people are just, maybe they don't understand the idea of trying to lift the other guys. Maybe it doesn't, they're not hearing the music that way. And of course there's none of our band members. I'm just saying over the years of playing and, a lot of guys just have an ego and they want to stand up front and really be in the front. And, you'll get a lot more gigs if you can back people up, and make them sound good and make them, play well. To me, when the band sounds good and the guy playing lead guitar is killing it and the audience loves it, man, we must be doing something right. So.
Love it. So, I said we would play a clip from one of your courses. You have so many great courses, but Shane, let's roll a track here just so people can kind of see this. So anyone that's not familiar with Mike's courses at TrueFire, let's roll a clip and take a look at it. Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
That was pretty good, man. That was not bad at all. So yeah, there's so many great courses where you're teaching that stuff, you're breaking it down. So anybody who's wanting to dig into playing like Mike, go check his courses out. Really, really good stuff. We've got a couple of questions that I want to run through. So let's do these. We'll do several questions here. So we'll do them. They're too much involved to be rapid fire, but we'll keep them reasonably short, if possible. Here's a question: how do you find your own voice on guitar? What do you do to develop your thing?
Wow, that is a really good question, and that probably could be. We could spend an hour on that, right? And then at the same time, I'd go, I have no idea. My my problem was I did not want to sound the way I sound. I wanted to sound like somebody else. I wanted to sound like Robin Ford or Stevie Ray Vaughan or Eddie Van Halen, whoever I was into at the time. I was trying to play like them. Like I wanted to make the guitar sound like that. And so I would do the things like I would even get a different guitar and this amp, and I'm going to find this, and I'm going to get this sound. And which I know, I mean, I think that's common. A lot of guys do that. My dilemma was, I can distinctly remember working at this guitar store. I mean, I have gone through so many guitars, Jeff. I've owned so much equipment. And one day, a guy said, he goes, "Man, every time I see you play, you got a different guitar." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm just trying to get the sound." And he goes, "Yeah, it all sounds the same. Just sounds like you. It never sounds different. Every time I hear, no matter what guitar you play, it sounds like you playing." And I just remember thinking, well, that sucks. Really? Like, I'm trying so hard to sound like these people and it's not working out. So I don't know. I think I have a sound, I definitely like. I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm playing guitar the way what I would like to hear. So I think that's the first thing is I'm sincerely I enjoy what I'm playing because it's what I would like to hear coming out of the instrument. Now, there's certainly things I would love to hear come out of the instrument. For some reason, I'm not capable of doing. And those limitations are what I think have a lot to do with how I sound. And so I definitely got to a certain point as I got older that I was like, yeah, you can't play like that. And that's okay. But you can't play like this. And maybe that's what it's all about. I can't do everything. I can only do what I can do. And for me, it's more about, it's kind of like, I don't know, it sounds so corny, but, I got 3 beautiful daughters and they'll take selfies of themselves or my fiance, that's beautiful. Take a picture. Oh God, I look terrible. Oh, oh no, that's terrible. Take another one. And I think, you look great. What are you talking about? I think it's that. It's like, can you take a picture and go like, yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's it. It's that. It's learning to do what you would like to be able to do on the instrument to the best of your ability. And then at some point just going, hey, that's what it sounds like when I play. That's it. If you want to develop that, you need to become very comfortable with, especially if you've been playing a long time. I mean, young, I don't know. You just, you're going to listen to everybody under the sun. You're going to pick up everything you can. You're going to try to combine all of these different styles. And hopefully it turns into you only sound like you because you like, death metal and country music and hip hop and jazz. And then that turns into your guitar playing. I mean, I think that's what it is. That's how it's just all the things I like have come out in the instrument, But I think once you can accept that that's what you sound like and you just stay with it. And, at some point you may have to realize that there are limitations to what we're all able to do. And I'm pretty sure that's a quote from a famous musician. If you can accepting your limitations, albeit musical or physical, is a wonderful key to opening up the world of music.
Yeah, love it. So that actually leads right into another question, which is, do you ever, was on basically talking about the mental side of things. Do you ever have self-doubt? You ever struggle with doubt, which everybody does. So there said, what are some tips for that? How do you deal with that?
For years, I definitely had a lot of issues younger. And I won't get all into it. I mean, as a young guy playing in my 20s and stuff, you just, drink a beer or something and, kind of loosen up. And that didn't go well. And then, I learned to play sober. And boy, it was really awful on myself to just get so anxious and nervous and, too much thinking. And it almost goes back to what we talked about earlier. If I practice too much, this gets so clenched and tight and stiff, and it's so not flowing. And then it's the same way right here. I need to stop thinking, I don't need to think too much. Thinking too much, it really gets in the way. I just want to be kind of open and free and loose, kind of let it happen. I mean, obviously I'm thinking about what I'm doing, but I'm trying to leave it kind of open. And so if I'm a little anxious, a little nervous or something, I stretch, kind of close my eyes, breathe a little. If I get a little nervous, I just kind of, I sing and play. So there's plenty of times when I just close my eyes for a minute while I'm singing. And it might just be to kind of get my bearings together. But of course, people think, oh, he's got his eyes closed. He's so into it. So that works out for me.
That's perfect. See, you're good.
Yeah.
But that now the secret is out now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So, can I tell you something? Just really 10, 15 seconds. We did 3 in a row this weekend with Bill Murray. And Bill Murray's obviously been a wonderful performer his whole life, but doing live music, rock and roll shows is something that he only did in high school. So he hadn't done that in a long time. And on Sunday, I don't think he'd mind me sharing this with you. He said, Mike, what do you do when you got nothing? He was just really tired because it was a really long weekend. He goes, oh, what do you do when we got to play? And I just, man, you don't have nothing. And I said, you just play the songs, and I said, it'll be the best show we did all weekend. And he goes, really? And I go, I guarantee you when you're tired and wore out and you're just over it, it'll be great because all you can do is get through it. And when you have too much time and too much caffeine and you've done too much, that's not a good show. It's better when you just go and hope you can get through it. Because then the music does what it does best. It works. So there you go.
Good advice. All right. So we got one more question here.
Keep them rolling.
Who inspires you now? Right. So obviously you've got a lot of guitar heroes and people you follow, but right now, what's inspiring you, either bands or players or things? What keeps you fired up and creative now?
Well, guitar, it's, there's music. Boy, music's funny. I mean, guitar is funny. There's a lot of times I just find like maybe I'm not even listening to enough music. We're too busy. And I'm like, hey, you need to put some music on. I mean, the first thing I'll do today, we get in the car, is put on a Johnny Winter playlist on Spotify. Cause I just want to hear that. I want to hear Johnny play blues, just loose and open and free. And because I want that, I equate Johnny Winter and Eddie Van Halen as very similar. And other people will go, what are you talking about? But to me, it's like when they're playing lead, everything goes. Reckless abandon. Just what am I feeling? It's coming. It's off the cuff, right? And I want that. I want that. I just want to be loose. And so I'll listen to them. I'll listen to Johnny Winter a lot. Listen to Frank Zappa because his guitar playing is super influential to me. And the idea that he would just go like, well, I don't know. I got, this much time to play a solo. and let's see what happens. You know, that to me that's what I want to do, and it's okay if it doesn't work out. I'm going to try, but so that influences me. And then I'll be honest. I mean, I got so many great musicians around me. I watch Jimmy Vivino, and I just see years of all this musicality coming through. And he's got such an encyclopedia of music and licks. And so whatever style or anything, man, he can touch upon so much. That's amazing. But I will watch a Bill Murray walk through life with I'm not really sure what I'm doing next. And there's this freshness and this he's improvising life. Like literally just like walking into situations and just doesn't know what's going to happen. And I'm very impressed and inspired by that. Like, yeah, let's do that. That seems more fun. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, that's a good thing. We all hear many stories about Bill Murray doing things and showing up at somebody's wedding he didn't know, yes. All the things, and I'm sure you experienced some of those.
I mean, he just walks around and walks into groups of people, and if you come walking, running towards him and everything, he turns the other way. If nobody's paying attention, he just walks over, and I really love it. I just like the idea of maybe everything's not so planned. What if we just kind of go with it? And that's opened my eyes up a lot and made me play music more like the way I want to play, and just going yeah, this is what I'm doing. So I do just enough practice to make sure I don't fall on my face, but I want to leave the door open for some magical moments.
It's awesome. And when you play night after night after night, you're bound to hit a magical moment somewhere in there.
I mean, our buddy Joe Bonamassa, always says, he just finished his tour. He's like, well, I got gig hands. He can play anything now.
Yeah. I will say, recording Joe Bonamassa he never didn't take his guitar back to the hotel at night. He'd just show up in the morning, didn't even tune up or do anything, said, all right, let's go, and just picked up and started playing. It was like, all right, well, there you go. He just had that,
He has his physical limitations are different than mine. Yeah. They're much more expanded. And that's one of those things that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Because listen, I don't play guitar like Joe Bonamassa.
No.
But he would literally sit here as my friend and just as a fellow guitarist and go, well, I don't play guitar like you.
Absolutely.
So it's inspiring to see his physicality and to want to try to learn his licks. But not everybody can play like that. And that's why we love to hear Joe play like that, So.
Absolutely. And it's why we love to hear you play like you. Everybody plays their thing. Everybody's got their own voice. If you've got your own voice, no one can copy you because it's your thing, So
correct. Exactly. That's
what makes it. That's what makes it awesome.
You're doing your thing. No one can tell you you're doing it wrong.
That's absolutely right, man. Well, we love your thing, Mike, at TrueFire, and big fans, of course. Everyone, thank you guys so much for stopping by and spending this time with us. It is awesome. We'll replay this. We'll post this and replay it. And for sure, check out all of Mike's courses at TrueFire and go see him play. Got a lot of opportunities to see him play because he's doing a lot of it. So
up in New England all this week. So nice. Check it out, MikeZito.com.
Yep. Go check out his website. All the stuff is listed there. And you get to your gig, brother, and we will see you next time.
Jeff, I love you, man. I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
All right. Peace out, everybody.